Hi everyone and welcome to Impact. I'm Nick Barber, your host for the government segment, and we're going into a new year with our recent guest and our returning guest, Hugh Vandeyar. Welcome, Hugh.
It's great to be
Wish
here
you a happy
again.
New Year and a wonderful year ahead.
All the best to you
All
and
good
your
things.
family too.
You and your family, thank you.
Thank
You've
you.
been with us before. Hugh is a retired journalist. He was a journalist in Guyana, a newspaperman for over 26 years. This is an old little bio I'm looking at. It included 2 years at the Graphic, 24 years at the Guyana Chronicle, and his fields were government, parliament, labor, crime, and his primary responsibilities were the courts and religion at that time. Then he left the Chronicle in 1980 to become public relations officer for the Guyana National Trading Corporation. Then after that, he became the communications manager of the Guyana Sugar Company. He's also served as public relations officer for several religious organizations, representing them at overseas conferences, and he was the vice president of the Public Relations Association of Guyana, general secretary of the Guyana-Venezuela Friendship Society, and a supervisor of the Clerical and Commercial Workers Credit Union. Now that was in 1988. What have you been doing since, Hugh? Since 1988?
Well, since then I worked with the government as a communications consultant with the Ministry of Local Government, as a matter of fact, when we were preparing for local government elections. Yeah, in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then I retired, I came here.
You retired and you came to the United States.
I came to the United States.
And you live in Schenectady?
I live in Schenectady. I've
Yep.
been here for the past 8-9 years.
With your wife Agnes?
With my wife Agnes.
Yeah, that's great. And you've been a guest before, and we welcome you back.
Thank you.
I know I've heard you speak on the Jonestown tragedy many times that occurred in 1978, and it's coming up on a pretty morbid anniversary year. But how many years has it been now? The anniversary
And
just
it's
recently.
actually today makes 2 months.
Yeah.
And 34 years exactly.
Okay. Oh, because it's the 18th of
It's
the
the
month.
18th of November.
Well, we're dating the
1978.
show, but it's being taped.
Yes.
But
And today is the 18th.
it's over. If it's over 34 years now, so we're just
Yes.
over the cusp of the 34th anniversary of this tragedy.
Yeah, that's right.
And you were very close to this and very involved. And we talked before, and one of the things that struck me was a lot of misinformation out there about facts, about people and families and so forth. So maybe you could talk to us about that and the history. So
Yeah, that's right, Nick. As a matter of fact, when this tragedy occurred in Guyana, I was the crime reporter in the Chronicle newsroom that particular weekend.
I see.
And in addition to the 918 deaths reported at Jonestown itself, People's Temple members, there were a few that occurred at the head office in Lama Gardens, which was located just a few blocks away from the Chronicle, was in Bel Air.
Mm-hmm.
And these deaths were more gruesome, I think, than the others, because the manager, the office manager of the temple, located in Georgetown, a woman by the name of Sharon Amos,
Mm-hmm.
she killed 3 of her children and another child in the bathroom of that home when she got word of the White Night, which was the code name for the disaster in Jonestown.
No, it
Yeah,
wasn't.
and she did it herself with the assistance.
Oh my God!
With the assistant, and then she killed herself afterwards.
But it wasn't the Kool-Aid administered death.
Not then, no.
She,
The Kool-Aid was in the jungle at Jonestown.
Yes.
She slit their throats.
Her own children.
Her own children,
And then
killed them
herself.
and another one, and killed herself. With the
Because?
assistance of a guy, because
Why?
everybody had, that was a code name for everybody to die.
So she was following these
Orders. She was a fanatic.
She was a
And
fanatic
she just wanted to go
following
down with the rest.
Jim Jones.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Some horrible
These
things.
people just follow
Horrible,
this man
horrible things.
blindly. It's unbelievable. And
And so
I met one of the...
What do you attribute that to? Weak minds or powerful, convincing?
No, this man had a
person?
tremendous influence on people.
Yes.
And not only...
It's almost like the Pied Piper. They lead people and they
Yes.
follow blindly.
That's right.
I mean, to the degree of a disaster and their own death.
This was a pact that they had taken, that they will all die together.
Yes.
Well, Jim Jones, he knew he was going to die because he had cancer. And he would have died in any case, maybe that year or not far from then.
Yes.
So he decided to take everybody out.
So he's going to take part of the world
Yeah,
with him.
after Congressman Leo Ryan came to investigate
yes.
reports made by relatives of the members of the temple there,
Yeah.
and he was leaving, Jim Jones sent his men out to the airport, a place called Port Kaichuma, which is located like about 6 miles away from the camp, from the People's Temple commune at
Yes.
Jonestown,
Yes.
and killed them, shot them down.
Wow.
Yeah.
A horrible thing.
And then afterwards, he started the suicide pact, the Kool-Aid,
Yes.
forced people to take it.
Well, that's what
Those
most people remember.
And
I
mothers
remember
were
seeing
given
the
this
footage
thing.
and the.
Yes.
It was horrible. It was very, very disturbing to watch it.
There were mothers who were administering this thing to their babies.
Yes.
And watching them fought because the Kool-Aid was laced with cyanide.
Yes.
Yes. But they had practiced this drill, this suicide drill,
Yes.
for a long, long time. More than a year, I think. Every weekend they used to do it.
So he had his
According to
followers
Every weekend he had them line
rehearse,
up in the
if you
compound.
would.
Yes, they would rehearse this step, but with Kool-Aid, not laced with
regular
cyanide.
Kool-Aid.
Regular Kool-Aid.
non-harmful.
Right.
Yeah.
And so they would do it every weekend.
Oh my God! So
Regular drill.
he actually indoctrinated them and tried to reinforce
exactly. Exactly.
Boy, what a crazy mind he had. What can we learn from this as far as humanity? I mean, we've had a lot of, demented, leaders of people before that people have followed. I mean, some people tried to break away from his
A few of them
his
left.
influence, didn't they?
A few of them left and they returned
Yes.
back to the States, but the majority stayed on.
Yeah.
And a few, you had like about 1,000 Americans there. But some of them were working in Georgetown at the time at the local office,
Yes.
and so they missed it. Like a young lady, well, she was 22 years of age then, named Laura Johnston.
Yeah.
I met her in California. She is one of the survivors who is now manager of the Jonestown Institute. So this is a
Yes.
report that comes out regularly,
Mm-hmm.
and she's also the author of a book. Laura has since married to a guy named Cole, so she's now Laura Johnson Cole,
Mm-hmm.
and she has a son. But Laura stated to me when I saw her in 2004 that she wished that she had died with the rest. Yes. She said that it was only since she got married
Yes.
and got a son
Yes.
that she sort of felt that she needed to live for them. But all along, before she got her son, before she was married, she felt that she was, she should not have
missed
been feared.
something.
Yeah, that she should have gone with them too.
How powerful
Yes.
his convincing words and actions must have been for somebody to feel that way,
Yeah.
that she missed something.
And she was not the only one.
Yes.
In this book here, I did the Guyana chapter.
Yes, I noticed
For
that.
Yes, that's a book on the
This
People's
is
Temple.
a book
The
from
10th anniversary edition.
the 10th anniversary edition, and this was the Edwin Mellon Press, and there were a number of contributing writers in this, and you were one of them, and you did a whole chapter on. Let's see. Let's go.
I can
for
read
it.
this right here. I can
know,
read
but-
parts.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yep.
I
I can do part of it for
Yeah.
you.
Yes, please
Part
do.
of it now,
Yeah,
if you
please
like.
do.
But
Yeah.
it says here that, well, a lot of people have been asking what has happened to Jonestown since then. And this will tell you. Flying over the land near Port Kaichum in the northwest district of Guyana, where Jonestown once proudly stood, the only indication to the keen observer, and one who had been there before, is a spread of lush green vegetation. The spot is greener there than the surrounding area. Agricultural experts have suggested that this is so because of the permanent crops planted there, such as bananas and plantains, which are in abundance still, In addition, supplies of fertilizer and agrochemicals stored there by People's Temple for the community's use have since been washed all over the land by the heavy tropical rainstorms which occur throughout the year. A lot of people have the belief that Jonestown was set up there secretly, that when Jim Jones came into the country, nobody knew, that it was a sort of secret thing kept from the Guyanese people, but this is not so.
Mm-hmm.
I was present when he arrived in the country, and he had a big revival ceremony at the church in
Yes.
Georgetown, Catholic church called Sacred Heart Church.
Mm-hmm.
That's in Main Street in the
It was
capital.
a Catholic church?
Yes, a Catholic
Okay.
church.
Yes.
And he had this big faith healing crusade going on
Yeah.
for about a week. And he was introduced by people like the mayor of Georgetown, and also Sir Lionel Lockle, one of Guyana's most eminent lawyers, who was then High Commissioner to London.
Mm-hmm.
And they introduced Jim Jones, and he had this thing going on. I think it lasted for about a week or so. So there was no secret about it.
Mm-hmm.
And people still feel that the Guyanese people knew nothing about it, that this was just, everything
Yes.
was done on the sick. But there's nothing. Jim Jones was actually introduced to, by letter to the Prime Minister of, then Prime Minister Burnham, by President Carter of the United States.
Really?
So yes, he came with high credentials,
Yes.
Well,
Well, we only have about a minute or so
Yeah.
left, but one thing we did want to mention was that the misconception of the facts and what happened. You say you have people approach you and talk about the accounts of what happened, and it's incorrect. One thing people could do, besides you mentioning it, is they could go to these websites from the Jonestown Institute for more information. Isn't that correct?
Yes, of course.
Would it be a good source?
Yes.
The Jonestown Report and about Jonestown, and we'll try to put those websites up on the screen.
Yes, I would appreciate that, because there's a lot of misleading information going about.
Yeah,
A
just
lot of
as
people have
our
been picking up a few
last few
facts.
comments, we got
Yes.
a minute or so left, less than a minute left. Tell us about those misconceptions and some of your personal experience when people would approach you and make comments that were not accurate.
Yes, like for instance, I was telling you about the secrecy, the claims surrounding the whole thing, and that we didn't know anything that was going on.
Yes.
And also, you see, also after this thing happened, the government of Guyana put a blanket on publication. They kept it secret. That was a big secret.
Mm-hmm.
They said that as far as the government publications were concerned, no local media was allowed to produce anything, publish anything.
Oh.
Because the Prime Minister then said it was an American matter, and the Guyana government
I see.
yes, it
So
was
they
about,
were evaluating the political
yes,
impact.
exactly,
And
that it was
and
about
the,
Americans.
international
Yeah.
relationship with the U.S. and all that other
Yeah.
stuff.
But we helped, those of us at all the Chronicle newspaper reporters, helped the foreign press to get that information out to the world,
I see.
because they used our offices.
Yes.
And I remember helping to write captions for pictures
Yes.
that were taken at Jonestown.
Yeah. Well, we've been visiting with Hugh Vandeyar. He was a retired journalist in Guyana, and he covered the terrible tragedy of Jonestown in 1978, November 18th to be exact. And he's given us some personal accounts of being there and some historical information, and also some correction of some misconceptions. And we appreciate you coming again, Hugh, and I hope that you'll come back to Impact again and maybe fill us in with your wisdom and your observations of the Guyanese community and other life experiences that you've had and have been willing to share with us. Thank you very much for coming. Hugh Vandeyar, everyone. Thanks, Hugh, and we hope to see you again soon.
Well, it's been a pleasure as usual, Nick, and I'd like
you.
to be here again.
I'm Nick Barber, your host for Impact. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Proctors, bringing the best in arts, education, and entertainment.